Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Roll it, Tony.
Best sin. It's not like Papa to be so late. Signs in the rude world, hurt in the day, lulled by the moonlight, have all passed away. All right?
Look, Bess, Celtic princesses. I know they say you can't really appreciate family history unless you trace.
Ladies and gentlemen, my first guest today is an actress, director, and producer. She's had many directing credits for Theater 40, Incidents, Right Lady of Perpetual Health, Good People, Driving Miss Daisy, and many, many others. She also has been acting credits on television, ER, The Doll Maker, Evening Shade, and many, many others. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Anne Hearn Tobolowsky.
Good morning.
Good morning, Anne, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This
Madam,
is
as
fun.
I looked at your bio, all I could say was this, quote, not bad, not bad. Wow, you got a lot of stuff there. Wow.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
I feel lucky that I got to have some great adventures with some wonderful actors. So
Yes.
I do count myself fortunate.
Indeed. Indeed. Tell us, first of all, where were you born?
I was born in a smallish town called Griffin, Georgia, which is between Atlanta and Macon, kind of right in the middle of the state. And I got out as fast as I could. Not that I didn't love the people there and love my family, enjoy much about it, but I felt like I had to see the wide world.
Good idea. There are times when you have to get out of it.
Yeah.
I know for a fact when I was 18 years old, my mother said to me, son, you have to leave my house. I said, well, Mom, don't you love me? Get out of my house. Don't you need me? Get out of my house. I went out and joined the Navy, but that's another step. But I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
What got you into acting?
Well, I think the short version of it was I read a lot as a child, and I was very easily imagined myself in all of the stories that I read. And more so than movies or television, I just like to play pretend a lot. And this seemed to be the best way to do that as much as possible. And it took me a little while to find the courage. There certainly was no one in my family or my history or my exposure that had ever done such a thing. So I tried very hard not to do other things. And eventually I came to the conclusion that this was the only thing that really made me happy and that I wanted to try, and that failure would be not trying. So there was, as long as I tried, I would have not woke up one day and be 80 and go like, you didn't even try. What is wrong with you? So that's how I did it. Eventually, I put my foot in the grass, crossing the street. A little voice inside of me or beyond me, or however one describes that, said, just pick up your foot, take the next step. Don't worry about how, just keep walking. And here I sit.
And here you sit.
I took the next step.
Right, because when you walk up on that stage, what do they say to you? Break a leg.
Yeah.
Break a leg. 1982, you got your first IMDb actress film credit for a horror film, sci-fi called Time Walker. Remember that?
Yes, I do. I do.
Your first time.
Well, it was a situation where I had some friends that got me hired on as an extra. And I don't know if it's still true, but back in the day, if you had a line or two, they had to offer you the possibility of joining the union if you could fork out the bucks.
Gotcha.
So I was like, well, this was a chance. I wasn't going to say no and wait for the next time. So that's how I got my foot in the door.
Okay. 1995, you had a Woman of Independent Means. It was a TV mini series, a drama, 3 episodes. But what got me, and I'm sure it got you, 5 hours and 16 minutes for one showing?
I don't remember when it originally aired. I think they showed it over 3 nights.
Got you.
Yeah, I
Got
don't
you.
think they showed it all at once.
Two. Okay, got you. Then you got into another situation. What you have right now is in post production. It's called Passenger C, a biography that you're doing.
Well, I again, this was a project of friends, and
Yes.
I was happy to help them out. I haven't seen it. I don't really even know how it turned out. The
Mhm.
story was kind of partially improvised and
Yes.
partially written, so I'm excited to see it. I got to be one of the passengers.
Okay. Well, now we get down to the real nitty gritty. How did you become a theater director?
Well, I think
Woo.
that story starts with a friend of mine, Jennifer Parsons, was also an actor at Theater 40 way back pre 2000. I'm not even sure how far back it goes, but quite a ways back. And she had a play she wanted to do, and she said, "Why don't you direct it?" And I said, "Well, I've directed children's theater
Mhm.
like 10 years ago. I don't know anything about directing. How would I even do that?" And she says, "Well, we'll help you. We'll help you. You know, don't worry. We'll make sure you're okay." So that play was called Holy Days, a beautiful little play. It was very successful. All the actors did a great job. I had a good time, and that sort of gave me a taste for it. So after that, I realized that by being a theater director, even if there were no parts in the play for me, I could
Mhm.
still play.
Mhm.
So I thought, that won't limit me. I won't have to wait for a part to come along. I can still do a play, tell
Okay.
a story.
There is a theater here in Beverly Hills called Theater 40 that you have spent a lot of time with.
That's true. That's
Yes,
true.
indeed. Uh, that, Let me see. Here's the next shot is the interior shot of the theater itself, so people can get an idea because this is where this lady spends a lot of time at. Okay,
Beautiful theater.
beautiful theater. Uh, One of the things that you got involved with was back in those early days, you did a play called the Surveillance Trilogy. Sound familiar? 2019.
29 Savannah Trilogy. That doesn't sound familiar.
Ooh, okay. All
I
right.
wonder what that is.
I found it on your Facebook. But
The
okay.
Savannah Trilogy.
All right. Let's move on.
Maybe it's called something different and they
Okay.
changed the name or something.
All right. It was actually a play that was going in session, and they were actually doing some workout. This how about the Surveillance Trilogy? Does that make
Oh,
sense?
Surveillance Trilogy.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes, yes. Oh, there I see. No, saw the show, which was wonderful, but I didn't
Yes.
participate. I wasn't a director or actor with that show, but it was
Okay.
at our theater, so I was a supporter.
Okay. You want to see what it looked like?
Sure.
Tony, what you wrote?
The Surveillance Trilogy is three completely separate plays that are linked by theme about surveillance. The first play, Until All of This Is Over, takes place in 1953, the height of the Red Scare.
It's like a mystery. You're trying to figure out what happened, what's going on.
Being able to relate to someone who is...
What made you come to Theater 40?
Well, when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had a friend from college who had just joined the company. And he says, "Well, they're looking for young people. Why don't you come over and try out?" So I did. I was older. I was probably in my mid to late 20s, but I was still playing 14-year-olds. So they were real happy to have somebody around that could play the kids. So that's how I got involved with it's a membership company. So that means the members are partially responsible for the running of the theater, helping out the other actors when different shows, ushering, box office, concessions, building the sets, whatever is needed at the time. So I thought, well, that's a good home. That's a good place for me to start. You know, that's Hollywood. Sign me up.
Okay.
And I stayed.
Obviously, you stay. And okay, that makes it. That makes it. What do you think about audiences who go to the theater who love to see that what's on that stage there? What do you think?
I think that's fantastic. I mean, it's so, I mean, it's one thing to go to a great movie and have that experience, especially in a movie theater where you share that experience.
Yes.
It's another great experience to go to a big musical, a big theater, a Broadway show, touring around. Amazing, wonderful experience. But when you go in a small, intimate space, when someone, a live human being, is maybe 6 feet away from you
Yes.
and experiencing the story that they're telling as if it's happening to them, there's something so primitively close and wonderful about that, that it feels very personal. And I think it's unlike any other experience you can really get. You know,
Oh,
you go to a big football game and enjoy that, or you can watch your nephew play tennis and
okay.
do great at the tennis tournament. And that's equally great experience.
Ooh, I can feel it coming from you, oozing from you, oozing from
I
you.
get excited. I do.
See, you do, ma'am. Indeed. Indeed. Perhaps in general, what kind of plays do you enjoy directing, acting, or even attending?
Well, I do have an unusual sense of humor, I think. A lot of people are surprised at some of the things I enjoy. I love a good, sweet story that has a lot of heart to it, which would be, expected. But I also like dark stories that maybe reveal something not particularly positive about the human condition, particularly if it's in contrast to absurdity. That dark humor appeals to me a lot as well. So that sometimes will surprise people that, my taste is maybe a little more on the edge of things.
Okay. We got just a few more minutes left.
Okay.
One of them that I want to ask you about was your theater came to a play called Guess Who's Coming to Theater?
Yes.
Oh, dinner.
Wonderful play, wonderful story, fantastically performed. And I think audiences really enjoyed it and came to see it, which is great.
I understand it was backed by popular demand.
Yes, they did have a limited run up at Greystone Mansion for a couple of weekends, I think. And I don't know, maybe it will have life beyond that, but it was definitely worth seeing.
We have a video, Roller Tony. Wow, when I saw that video, I said, that looks great. That really
It was
does.
great. It really was.
Okay. Now, a current play you got going right now is Incident at Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Tell us about that, please.
Yes. So this is a play that falls into the charming, sweet, humorous, delightful way of presenting a story that I also enjoy very much. We have a wonderful cast. The story, it's a memory play as a girl who grew up in the 70s is explaining to us about the scariest week of her life that has a positive resolution, but at the time she found it very intimidating. And it has lots of humor. She talks to the audience. The other characters in the play talk to the audience, try to take over and say, wait, no, let me tell my story. So it's a different, fun, and ultimately very, very moving play, I think. Very feel good. Definitely a positive experience.
Excellent. Excellent. Open January 19th and rolling until when?
February 19th.
Oh,
So we got
rolling.
three more weekends.
Okay. And where's the play going to be at, as if I didn't know?
It's at Theater 40, which is located on the campus of the Beverly Hills High School, but not affiliated with the high school except as friends. And it plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights at 7:30 and Sunday afternoons at 2 p.m.
And tickets, how can you get them?
I don't have the phone number, but the website is theater40.org. And there you can purchase tickets right there from the website, but it also will give you a phone number you can call if you prefer to do it that way.
Excellent. And what excites you the most about this play?
I think how it really, you see a family, and even though they're an Irish Catholic family, even though that's not your family, it's easy to recognize your family in this. That's what happened to us, or that's how things went for us, or that was how we got through life, the hardships we had. So it's a very recognizable, identifiable play.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds
I
great.
hope you will come. Seriously, I think you will enjoy yourself.
All right, that's an invitation that I'll
Yes,
definitely
it
live up to.
is.
Definitely. We have one more bit of screen for you. That happens to show the season subscription with good information. There's the information you're looking for, 310-364-0535. That seems to be the number. Okay.
Excellent.
That gives people information that they need. That's, again, it's Theater 40. Okay. And I want to thank you very much for sharing some time with those marvelous things that you've been done as the theater director, an actress, and other projects. Continued success with Theater 40 and have a good year. Oh, yeah. Best wishes to your husband, actor, director, writer, Stephen Tobolowsky.
That's us.
I got it. Handsome young man.
Yeah.
Indeed. Have a good year. Again, thanks to our dear friend, Philip Sokoloff. He is, what a guy.
Great. Thank you so much, Ron.
Oh,
It was
my
lovely to
pleasure.
meet you.
My pleasure, indeed. Thank you so much.
All right.
This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. We'd like to let you know that we are at the Actor's Choice Squad to help us get former baseball player Curt Flood into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Not back, but into, trying to get him in there. Curt, who passed away January 20th, 1997, was the husband of one of our wonderful guests, renowned actress Judy Pace. All you got to do is contact our office at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. And ladies and gentlemen, we sincerely thank each and every one of you for being a part of this magnificent award for a great baseball player. Okay? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's a question. How bad do you want to get into broadcasting? Well, have you ever thought about it as a career in broadcasting? You see the glitz and glitter in the business and you say to yourself, hey, I can do that. Just so you know, I've been in broadcasting for over 30 years. And do I like it? I don't like it. I love it. I love it. I teach broadcasting at Santa Monica College in a course called Media 13. That's broadcasting, announcing, and production 2 days a week. The course is online, which makes it very, very easy for you. For more information, give me a call at 323-533-1036. That's 323-533-1036. Go ahead and give it a try. You'll be so glad you did. And we still have some openings for the class. Do you? Do you? Do you? Do you want to get into broadcasting? Thank you very much. Roll it, Tony.
Of Star Trek actor John Cho 20 years ago, an indie made for less than $100,000.
But I don't have a green card here.
Canadian Quentin Lee co-wrote and co-directed the film Shopping for Fangs. He says back then, the diverse cast made it difficult to land a studio deal.
I think that was really ahead of its time. I would say 1997. But finally, I feel like people are getting it.
So much so, the movie was re-released last year. But despite more demand for representation, voices like Lee's are far from the norm in writers' rooms.
Ladies and gentlemen, my next guest today wears many hats in the work that he does. He has directed 35 feature film and TV series. He also has 37 IMDb producer credits, writer credits, editor credits, cinematographer credits, actor credits, casting credits, and so many, many more. One could say he's a busy man. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Quentin Lee. Quentin,
hello.
Greetings.
Welcome.
Good to see you again. Thank you so much for joining us today. Always good to see you. Indeed. A lot to talk about in 17 minutes. So where were you born?
Well, I was born in Hong Kong, and then I immigrated with my family to Montreal in Canada, which is super cold. Mm-hmm. And then I went to grade 11, grade 12 there. Then I, because of the situation, because I went to Quebec, and in Quebec, I had to, it's a French-speaking province. And for me to be able to go to the school in the Quebec, I had to be able to pass French matriculation. And because literally I got there and I had to take matriculation, and I couldn't really pass French. So I was basically had to go out of Quebec, either to outside of Quebec, into Ontario or British Columbia, or to the US or anywhere else for college. So I ended up coming to Berkeley, and then I just fell in love with California, and I said I wanna stay here and make films and go to UCLA, and that's exactly what I did.
Wow, you got a lot of degrees, that's for sure. Nothing like we call it an education. You got a lot of education, indeed. Indeed.
Well, I was trying to teach. I was trying to apply for a teaching gig at Santa Monica College. I got turned down. So, but my friend, I'm not sure you know my friend Walt Louis. He actually
that name.
He teaches editing at the Santa Monica College. So
okay, because I'm in that. What department is he in?
I think he's in film.
Okay, then he's in my department. Yeah, oh yeah.
And your broadcast course is, where is it? What department is it in?
I'm in media.
Okay.
Communication, but the media department, yes. As an adjunct, yes. Some of us, we passed each other. Hey, how you doing? How you doing? All about education. Good. If I was put a plug in, good school there, Santa Monica College. If I could put that in there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I've never gone there because I actually I would go to LACC, and also I should be going to Glendale College now because I live in Glendale now. But LACC was the college that I went to for like to study Chinese and French conversation and all kinds of classes. I love it.
I love it. Love it. Then in 1992, you got your first director position for a 53-minute video called Anxiety of Impression and the Otherness Machine.
That's a little movie that I always a little bit embarrassed to talk about because so I graduated from Berkeley, that was 1992, and I was applying to film school at UCLA, but I got I didn't get in, and I really thought I was really close, so I decided to reapply the next year. But then, so in between, I went to Yale for my master's in English because I was studying English before. So, and I thought, like, you know what, I'm not going to wait for film school to make films. And I just started. So I started, like, as soon as I graduated from Berkeley, I started making short films. And my first shot was To Ride a Cow. And then somehow between Berkeley and Yale, I made Anxiety of Expression and the Otherness Machine. And it's my longest thing that I've ever made at that point. I don't know how I cut it, but it was just like, but it was a personal documentary that mixes homemade pornography footage that I shot between me and my then boyfriend, and also the commercial pornography footage. So it was just such a crazy experimental work that I made when I was in my 20s, and now I'm trying to say, don't screen it, don't show it, don't go watch it, because
well, anyway, you got your first IMDb director credit out of it, if nothing else. You had an experience, you had a chance to do something. 1996, let's fast forward to that. You did a film called Flow.
Yes, Flow was actually a compilation of my student short films at UCLA because I really wanted to make a feature. So I started putting it together and just stitched like all my short films together, and I shot it on like mostly 16 millimeter, some on video. It's a really experimental film, and it's actually right now being preserved at the UCLA Film and TV Archive. And
okay, Quentin, how did it feel directing your first movie?
You know, so basically, officially, my first feature is actually a film called Shopping for Fangs. After Flow, it's 1997. And I basically was in film school at UCLA, and I had a really good buddy named Justin Lin. And then I just said, hey, you know what? Why don't we make a feature together? Because I want to make my feature film by 27.
Yes.
So I thought, so during a Christmas break, he wrote a story about like this guy turning to a werewolf, and I wrote a story about this waitress with a double personality. And then said, well, let's mix it together, and we'll raise money to make our first feature together. And so I end up getting a grant from Canada Council for the Arts, which is kind of like the National Endowment equivalent in Canada. And so they gave us like $60,000, and then we shot a 35 millimeter film for $60,000 called Shopping for Fangs, and that film actually ended up premiering at the Toronto International Film Festival in 1997. And that basically launched our career. So I think I stayed in school to finish school because I was an international student. So, and then I think that I kept making films until today. And then Justin Lin, obviously, he actually dropped out of UCLA, and then he made his second film, Bella Tomorrow, that got to Sundance, and he's directing all the Fast and Furious movies now.
Excellent. Every director has their own style. Define the Quentin Lee style of film making.
I think I wouldn't say I have a style, but in terms of if there is a style, I'm definitely a very, how can I say, I am like a big fan of Brian De Palma, because he really influenced me to become a filmmaker. And I remember I was maybe 15 or something. I read the Premiere magazine, and in that magazine he showed some of his storyboards and talked about how he made Casualties of War, I believe, and it was about the sequence where the Vietnamese woman was raped and then she was trying to escape, and how the GIs got her and killed her. So I was just so impressed by De Palma's kind of rigor, and so I basically stepped into those shoes. So when I make films, I tend to be very. Anyways, early when I make films, I would storyboard every shot, just because I really believe in the Hitchcockian system, that where you know exactly what every shot is. But as I am progressing now as a filmmaker, I also started doing a lot of stand-up comedy specials. So there's a lot of like improv and stuff, and I started working on multi-cam shooting, and so that really is very interesting too. So I think that my style has really evolved from a very kind of controlled way of making a film to now that I can actually work in more improvisational stuff. So a lot is just depending on what film I'm making. I have a different strategy for it. But if you say there's a unifying theme of what I do, I'm definitely most interested in terms of how we connect to the world. So all my films are about how the main character try to connect to a larger community or larger world, and I'm really interested and moved by how people connect to the world, or to each other.
Tell us about the use of technology in creating films and how the changes have affected films.
I think technology is a friend, because I grew up, I'm sort of the Generation X, where I grew up using computers. When I was like 12, I had my first Apple IIe, and I'm still using Mac. And I basically went in film school around 1990. Oh my God, I'm feeling very old right now. So around 1999, even when 97, when we were making Shopping for Thanks, we're right at the transition of digital technology from film to digital technology. And we were cutting on one of the early versions of Avid, and we shot everything on film. And so basically after my third film, on my fourth feature, The People of Stuff, I shot the first time on digital, on the Red. And that was at that point, literally, it was the first Red camera, it's Red 1. So I just feel like technology is always my friend, and I believe in using technology, because technology is developed not to impede your growth as impede your growth as an artist or as human, but it's really just to help you. So a lot of times it's just about how to understand technology and use technology to help you. So, for example, I'm actually going to be organizing a panel for the Producers Guild of America and also Canadian Media Producers Association on producing with AI and data. And right now, I'm working with a company called Lago.ai, and we basically use this company's AI to generate financial modeling for films and predict like how much money that the film will make, and also help us to do casting and to do suggestions of cast, to figure out what is our target audience, and just using a lot of the data that is already out there for all these years. So I think that technology is just amazing beyond beyond transitioning from film to digital, and I just think it's the way to go.
Wow. 2000 was a year you had a movie, a video out called Drift.
Yes, Drift is actually a feature film, but it was shot on digital video. At that point, they didn't even have HD.
Yes.
So it was shot mostly on digital video. We cut on video, and then it's printed onto film.
Oh, okay.
So it was at that point, like there was a movie called Celebration that was released as part of the Dogma feature.
Yes.
Features, and they shot on like just a video camera. So I was very interested in that kind of technology, and so I decided I want to shoot a film on, I think back then it's called mini DV, so it's mini digital video, but it's not HD, it's standard resolution, and we transferred that onto film with the Soho Labs, I think called Soho Labs in Toronto. So again, like I think technology fascinates me a lot.
Okay, we just happen to have a shortcut. Roll it, Tony.
Have you ever met someone who you think is a person you wanted to meet all your life?
So how long have you guys been together?
Almost 3 years. A lot of times I don't think you understand me.
What do you mean? I was kind of obsessed with serial killers as a kid.
So was I. I grew up watching horror movies.
I love horror movies.
You and your horror movies. I love Joel, but he just doesn't understand what I'm passionate about and what I believe.
Excellent work. Excellent. Excellent. You have another, 2012, you came up with another video called May Movement. Sound familiar?
Yes. So that was actually a video that my publicist made about the premiere of my, I think at that point, 2012, it has to be my 4th or 5th feature called White Frog. So it was made for the premiere of White Frog. Yeah, check it out.
Got you. Okay. Roll it, Tony.
Hi, I'm Quentin Lee. We're at the Fusion Festival at the Egyptian in Hollywood, and we're playing White Frog right now, so I'm really excited. Well, the collaborative process with all my actors, it's always been a very kind of like peaceful and non-contentious process because we're collaborating, making a film together. You have to nurture them. You have to make them feel really comfortable on the set. They are really what drives the movies. What Quentin
Sometimes I wish we had more time. I wish we could play more because you got so many films out there. Can you go to you have what they call Asian American movies. Can you talk about that for a second, sir?
Yes. So Asian American movies was actually a new evolution of Chop Soul, which Koji Steven Sakai and I started. And basically, I just it's basically a platform for diasporic Asian American film plus all my films, all my libraries on it. And so basically, yeah, you can stream it from your computer on any iOS device and also Android devices. And it's a streaming platform for basically Asian American and diasporic films.
Okay. Is there a telephone number that one can get to?
You know what? Just you can just go on aam.tv.com and you can directly subscribe and you can send us any questions you have, and everything is on the website.
Okay.
AsianAmericanMovies.com or aam.tv.
Okay. Quentin, I saved the best for last. Tony, can you put that video, that picture up? Ah, look at the little guy. Look at the little guy. How old is he now?
Well, he is turning 7, and yeah, he's turning 7, and again, like he is a product of he is a child of technology because he is a surrogate child. So he was born when surrogacy was available in the 90s. And then so basically so they put my sperm, they fertilize a donor's egg with my sperm, and then she was carried by an Italian American lady. Also, again, like this, I wouldn't be able to have my son without medical technology progressing, So if I wouldn't have been able to become a parent in this way in the 90s,
Okay. Speaking of names, what is this young man's name?
His name is Casper.
All right.
Casper Lee, yes. And you can actually find him on YouTube. He has a little YouTube channel for gaming, but he wants to be a gamer. So his YouTube
channel, off the old block.
YouTube.com/@Junyi Gaming, JUNYI gaming.com. I thought just at Junyi Gaming.
Got you.
And Junyi is his Chinese name.
Quentin, I want to thank you very much for coming today. We got to bring you back again. I mean, we haven't seen it all. Continued success in the projects that you engaged in. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, Quentin Lee.
Thank you very much, Ron.
Thank you.
See you again soon.
Thank you. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony. Ladies and gentlemen, for more information about the TAC Roku channel, please call us at 213-349-3941. That's 213-349-3941. Roll it, Tony.
You are tuned to WVTCRadioDetroit.com to the Sande Rose Show with your host, Sande Rose, where you'll hear the finest in gospel music, insightful conversation, and guests that will enhance you. The Sande Rose Show can be heard every...
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that my next guest today asked me to be on her show back in November, and I just had to reciprocate. This lady is super, and I'm told she's always reinventing herself. That's what I've been told. So, without further ado, please welcome award-winning radio talk show host, Sande Rose. Greetings, Sande, and welcome to the Actor's Choice.
And thank you so much for having me. How are you doing today?
Can you bring your volume up just a little bit?
I can. Is that better?
Can you bring it up a little bit more if you can?
A little bit more. All right.
There we go. We got it. Oh, God. Before we start, please tell us, where were you born?
Right here in Detroit, Michigan, in the D, same year as Motown. So I'm right
Motown.
Here. Yeah, Motown.
Yes. I see that one of the great ones in for the Motown sound, he just died yesterday. Yeah. You heard about the gentleman, his name, he did a song called The Money Move. I Need Money, That's What I Want. Wrote that song.
Oh, Ryan Barrett.
Yeah, he passed away yesterday.
Oh, no, I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. But
So
he was the bomb.
Say again?
He was good. He was good.
He was. Very good. Growing up in gospel music in Detroit, what was that like?
Well, it was a very unique experience because you're around all of these famous people, but you don't know it. They're aunts and uncles and, play aunts and play cousins and, Reverend James Cleveland and the Craig brothers and all of these people, they were like relatives, so you didn't really know that they were famous until, after you grew up and said.
So what made you get into the business of being a radio talk show host?
Well, it kind of fell in my lap. I was, on Friday nights, we used to hang out with, he wasn't Bishop then, he was Greg Davis, and we had a radio show. And we would hang out down there on Fridays, and I'd wait for him to say, well, I'm going to take a bathroom break. And can I put the next record on? At that point, it was vinyl, right? So he was like, here, just do this, do that. And next thing I was subbing for him when they were out. And then they gave me a show. And later on, I matriculated to working for Martha Jean the Queen at her station. And just kind of went on for there, but it was a real hobby.
Advice that you would give to people who want to get into broadcasting. You heard me doing a little plug there earlier.
Yeah, I would just say, if that's what you want to do and that's your love, just stick with it. Learn the business, just learn everything about it wherever you can be. And it may not be necessarily on the air, but you need to know other things about the business, how it runs. And now with the internet, it's so many other aspects that you can learn before you get on the air so that you'll know what's going on.
Got you. Folks, there's a difference how Sandra does her show. Tell us about it. I mean, you do it in a very special way.
Well, I do it in a special way in many aspects. So which part do you want to talk about? Internet?
Well, the fact that you missed, I was on your show.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. You do Q&A, but you also play music.
Yes, I do.
Gospel music. Right in the middle of the show.
Music.
Right.
Nothing like gospel music. And we love choir music. We love the indie artists. So we'll get a person that'll come on to the show. If they're a musical guest, then we will play their music. But if not, if it's like you, we'll play other gospel music and get everybody pumped up. They like to hear the music and the choir and the good feeling that goes along with the music.
Good feelings, huh? One thing you got to say about gospel, you got to like it.
You gotta love
Yeah, I
gospel
like it.
music.
We call, at the end of the minute, we say amen.
Amen. All right. And choirs matter over here. So
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
we love choirs.
You are the recipient of an award, the Stellar Award. Tell us about that, my dear.
Yes, yes. I am one of the owners of WVTC Chicago, and I am the sole owner of WVTC Detroit. And we got nominated last year, and we went to the awards, and I just went to have a good time. And it was the first award they gave out, and they said WVTC, and I had to hit my cohort. I'm like, hey, they just called our name. I can't believe this. And it was fantastic, just fantastic, because we work hard. But most of the times, I've worked hard all my life, and not looking for any recognition, just because I like hard work, and I like the feeling that you get when when you have a project that's completed. And when they gave the award, it was just beyond what I could even ask or think.
Wow. I heard you say that you'd like to get involved. I understand that you serve as a choir director for many churches.
Yeah.
Including the famed Voices of Tabernacle of Prayer Tabernacle Church.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
You
and
also
that's the choir that Reverend James Cleveland, he was an integral part of that choir. He was actually the first minister of music for that choir before he began pastoring. And that's the church I grew up in, and we just kind of went from there. And I've been privileged to go to several churches, major churches throughout the city of Detroit, and serve as a choir director for them. And it's just been amazing to me, just amazing.
Let me see. How many days a week are you on the air?
I'm actually on 2.
2 days, what? Mondays and Tuesdays?
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay. You got a staff of people that work with you, Miss Jackson, Richard.
I mean, Shirley,
they are out of sight.
Shirley, Richard, Teresa. So Shirley Johnson, I want to give them a shout out. Shirley Johnson, Richard Daryl yes. Nichols, and Teresa Acton. Pastor Jackie is on as well, and they just support us. Diane Gatewood Williams is also a big support, and these people just volunteer, and they just come on and they pitch in, and they just do a phenomenal job.
Wow. Thank them all for what they do to help you out. It does.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
It does. Reinventing yourself again. Reinventing
by myself, trust me.
Who are some of your favorite gospel artists?
Oh my goodness. I love gospel music. I love choirs especially. And I just love listening to choirs. And if I start calling names, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'll just say that particular niche is I really, 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 really like choirs.
Okay. Who are some of the famous people you've had on your show?
Oh man, we've had all kinds of people. Let's see, Margaret DeRoe, who wrote half of the hymn book. We've had Mama Lou. We've had Sherry Payne, the Payne sisters. We've had one of the Temptations. We've Lewis Price. We've had the Last Living Blue Note from Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. We've had Smokey Robinson's wife, Claudette, and again, once I start, but everybody that comes on the show is famous. Trust me, everybody. You are famous. You are.
Not just a humble guy doing his job, having fun. I noticed that you are finding your family on trying to get that out.
Yeah, I did. I had an opportunity.
Ancestry 3?
On Ancestry. Yeah. My dad told me that I had a sister. I had 2 sisters, right? And I finally took a DNA test and found them. And we talk every day.
That's beautiful.
Every day.
That's beautiful. Yeah. To see a family.
It is.
Yes.
It is. And we just love each other. So I've got two sisters that I did not know I had until maybe about 7 or 8 years ago. And then I met them during the pandemic. So.
Got you.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you're spearheading a new Detroit gospel music history project.
Yes, we are. Myself, Bishop Andre Woods, and Deborah Smith Pollard, Dr. Deborah Smith Pollard, who is another gospel historian right here in the city of Detroit. We are spearheading a project that consists of locating all of the artifacts, souvenir books, any church history, that dealt with the churches and the gospel music in the Detroit area. And because it's now a lot of these churches are gone, some of the pastors have passed on, some of the musicians have passed on, and if we don't maintain this legacy, and if we don't keep a record of it, it'll be gone. So we're doing oral histories, we're collecting information, and we've been blessed to get involved with the university. They're going to take our information and they're going to archive it for us. So we're going to have an online museum so that people who are studying gospel music will be able to go in, and if they want to know a little bit about this one or that one, they'll be able to go right in and find that information.
Reinventing again.
Reinventing again.
Goodness. Selection process to be on your show.
Well, you know what? We had at first when it started, the selection process was you needed to be in Detroit, okay? Because this was non-existent, right? So you had to be in Detroit. Well, once the pandemic, or the panorama, as we like to call it, once the panorama started, we went home and had to shut the station down. And I said, Lord, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And he spoke to my mind and he told me what to do, and do this, just this. And now we're able to get guests from all over the world. So we have our guests, they come on. Some of them are musical, as I mentioned before, and some are non-musical, but it's just, I have just as much fun as the guests do.
You call it fun, I call it attitude, my dear. You do have an attitude, for sure, as they say in the business. What do you do when you're not on the air? What do you do?
Actually have, as they say, a government job. Yes, I have a government job. I do work for the Ford Motor Company, and I again participate with the choirs and the churches, with the Gospel Music Workshop of America Detroit, and we try to reach out into the community and do a lot. So between the Gospel Music Workshop, my job, and WVTC, I stay busy.
Great studio I can see back there that you've got. Wonderful equipment.
Yeah.
Yes. We just got a couple more moments. I see you're licensed to teach the Bible since 1988.
Yes.
Sandy, that's beautiful.
Yes. And I was licensed and ordained, and I also have a bachelor's degree from the William Tyndale College in its business administration, with a focus on Christian studies. So yes, I love the Bible.
Wow. Sandy, we got to do this again. I really enjoy your show. I really enjoy your show. Keep it up, and please give my best to all the folks that work with you, of course.
I will.
And we call it looking GOOD. You heard that one. Looking good.
Well,
please
thank you
take
so
care.
much for having me on.
And as we say, I have here P.S. reinventing. Keep it going.
Right.
Keep it going. I like that. I gotta pick that one up. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. My pleasure. I want to thank our sponsors, Harvey Brandman Photography as an Art, Ron Irwin's Lose Life, the Way to Lose Weight, Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule, State Farm agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Breinstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actress, director, producer, Ann Hearn Tobolowsky, producer, director, writer, Quentin Lee, and radio talk show host, award-winning radio talk show host, Sandy Rose. And of course, special thanks to our ever-growing audience. Be well. We'll see you next time.